to see all of your lovely faces, everybody. I'm Jana. I am introducing to you our judge for tonight. His name is Dave Waite. He's a nature and landscape photographer living in Saratoga County. Since 2010, he has been studying the writing of early pictorial photographers, and his work has inspired by their compositional techniques. Some of his notable achievements are being awarded the Matthew Bender IV Award at the 2017 exhibition by artists of the Mohawk Hudson region, first place at the 2020 Art of New York in Canajoharie, and second place in the photography at the 2021 Central Adirondack Art Show. His work is on permanent display at the Saratoga Schenectady Endoscopy Center, Hudson Headwaters Miro Health Center, and the Nathan Something Gloversville Dialysis Center. In 2021, he helped establish the Galway Photography Club that meets the last Friday of each month at the Galway Public Library. So I got so stuck on that other word, I missed this one. What is that?
Tower.
Littauer. The tower?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Nathan Littauer.
Okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, if you can all say hi to Dave. And welcome, Dave. Thank you for stepping up to the challenge.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Your voice is a little scratchy sounding.
Yeah, that's me. You should be glad you're on Zoom, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be what you want to be around me.
It's kind of the tin can sound, though. I don't know if there's a way to improve this.
Yeah, let me change that. On Zoom, occasionally I have to change the speaker. Try that one. Is that any better?
I don't. Is anybody else hearing it the way I am?
It is a little squeaky.
Yeah. For some reason, is that any different?
A little better.
I feel like when you and I were actually talking, it was better, and now it's not.
You have any
Yeah,
WD-40, Dave?
What?
You have any WD-40? You could just spray it on.
Down my throat? That would help.
On your keyboard.
The keyboard. That would encourage something to happen. I'm not sure what. Yeah, well, I apologize about that. I had to come. I had to drive 15 miles to another location in order to get internet connection good enough to even do this. So whatever you get, where I live, you don't use Zoom because there basically is no internet. Life's tough.
I think you might be having the same problem I used to have. Hold on.
Yeah, I have two choices for try this one. See how that does. Is that any different?
Yes,
That's
much better.
There we go. Okay. What I find in the few times I've done Zoom calls is that periodically it seems to change itself back. So if it starts to get bad, let me know. And I'll, on times I've had to just switch it back and forth. For some reason, this computer doesn't seem to like to transmit sound too well.
Okay. Well, that sounds much better. I think we can get going here. Let me share my screen. Everybody see that? Thumbs up?
I can.
All right. Good to go there then. All right. So welcome to our general monochrome for January. Tonight we have 48 images in general and 38? Yeah, 38 monochrome. Doesn't sound right. Yeah. But so we have 5 places and 5 honorable mentions in each category. Let's start with general. So Dave, I put a number underneath each image title when it comes up, so if you have notes that are based on the image number, when you were reviewing them, you'll know which image it is, because they're not going to be in order. All right. So first image up is Lost Souls, Neil Shapiro.
Okay, first off, I want to say that all the images are outstanding. It's very always a pleasure to judge the shows for Schenectady Photographic. It's a great group of people and great work. This one, I enjoyed looking at. It, to me, just a little bit disconcerting with the angle of it, but it's certainly an interesting shot. Thank you for submitting it.
Okay, next up is Downtown, Alan Wiggins.
Okay, you have almost a mirror image in the reflection. Very pretty street scene. Sometimes even a challenge to get with reflections at night. Nice job.
Okay, next is The Horses Left Without Us, Barb Lawton.
Nice. It's kind of a street scene or a rural scene. Interesting colors in it, a little bit subdued. I was a little distracted by the fact that the children are looking off into the distance and kind of taking my view out of the picture. Nice job.
Next up is Nectar for Two, Heading South, Bernie Fabry.
Another nice image. Like the depth of field. Really does bring focus upon the butterflies. Well done.
Okay, next up is Smite That Block, Bill Lanahan.
Another street scene, action, sort of, very intense, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen next. Nice photograph.
Next up is Street Scene, Claudia Jakubowski.
Absolutely, a street scene, always challenging to, capture things as people are moving and things. It's nicely done.
Next up is Perpetual Motion, Dan Steen.
Wildlife or nature, always challenging to capture creatures. It's nice clear image of the hummingbird. Very nice.
Next up is Port Cabrillo Lighthouse, Dow Smith.
I enjoyed looking at this picture. And I think that the lines of it with the horizontal line through the center where the ground changes was a little distracting to me, almost creating two pictures, and the lower part has very little to draw you into it. It is a nice clear image, and I like the concept. Very good.
Okay, next up is Proud Mama, Greg Effner.
Very nice. I like the reflections and the way that it flows through through the scene with the ducks going across. Nicely done.
Next up is Makalu, Who in a Field of Posies, Jana Kaywood.
Very, very colorful, subdued colors, but very, very pleasant. Nice expression on the little girl's face. Challenge to get pictures like this. It's nicely done and enjoyable to look at. Very nice.
Next up is Contactless Ordering, Rich Streibstein.
Another street scene. Very challenging to capture. Interesting that you got the reflections, in the background as well. Just a nice capture and on a chat with a challenging subject. Very good.
Next up is Alana Balcony, Joan Heffler.
Wonderful, wonderful detail. Alana is just a great place to photograph, and I honestly have never seen someone taking a picture at this angle. So, it's quite an interesting capture. I like the lines of it. Very nice.
Okay, next up is Morning Rush, Neil Shapiro.
All right. Nature, taking time exposures of water and the scenes, can be challenging. It's got some good compositional tones, parts in it. The way the lines run from the lower right across and take you into the water. It's just very nice, very nicely done. Very good.
Next up is A Pair of Geese, Joe Catronio.
All right. Interesting composition. They certainly are the main focus of the picture. The background to me was just a little bit distracting, only because it's out of focus, and I tended to keep looking up and trying to figure out what it was. But it's a nicely done scene, and the reflections are in the ice or water are nice too. Very good.
Next up is Montana Barn, Kim Koza.
Wonderful landscape. It's soft, but it still has detail, and it is to me just a little bit out of balance with all the sky. Kind of a landscape painting type of photograph, maybe Eric Sloan type, if you know the genre of barn paintings and barn scenes. But very nice.
Next up is Bathhouse 2, Larry Hill.
All right, very kind of a classic photograph of a building. The windows, the reflections. I found it to be an interesting piece. It's got lots of detail, and I would enjoy looking at it. Very nice.
Next is Summer Sky, Dan Steen.
Nighttime photography is always challenging. Very well done. It must have been a fairly long exposure. You can see meteors showing their shooting stars in the sky. Just a nice time-lapse scene. Very good.
Next is Light Fantastic, Linda Tomasulo.
Is Linda on here? Linda?
She's here somewhere.
Yep,
Taken.
I'm here.
Where was the photograph Light Fantastic taken?
Where?
Yes.
Oh, God. I don't remember.
Well, it's a very nice photograph. Just out of curiosity, was it a very dark room? Was there any exposure compensations you had to do on that?
Honestly, I mean, it couldn't have been terribly dark. I mean, but the light was lit, so the room was obviously dark, but
All right. Thank you. Very good.
okay.
Next up, Insect and Corpus, Marguerite Hill.
Oh, yes. Nice photograph. Very good detail and depth of field. I like the background with the out of focus flowers. Very well done.
Statue of Liberty, Sharon Silversmith.
Nice photograph. Lots of detail and classic image of the side of the statue. Found it a little distracting with the boat and the bottom. Kind of takes my focus away from the rest of this cityscape and into the foreground. But nicely done photograph.
Next up, the wallaby, Sean Sullivan.
Okay. Yeah, it's a wallaby, I guess. You know, I'll believe you. Having no personal experience with wallabies, it's Sean, in the background, it almost looks like there's movement. What are the vertical lines behind the creature?
Not quite sure. I think it's just the other side of the wall for the
Oh,
for the
okay.
den. It's just because it was really dark in there, so I can't really it gives enhanced enough to give it some texture.
At first, it was like a waterfall behind it. But okay.
It was hard to tell. The day I took that, I had to rush through the wildlife, because it was in Australia, and it started raining like crazy. I'm running around trying to take pictures.
Gotcha. Okay, real nice photograph.
Next up is Wild Ride, Dow Smith.
Sports and automobiles and anything moving fast is always challenging. I like the way it was caught with the people and out of focus in the background and the other details. It makes you feel like you're climbing into the scene and you're right there. Very well done.
Is Taming the Snake, Thomas Whitmore.
Is Thomas on tonight?
Oh yeah,
Thomas, where was this?
East Bush Fire Department parking lot.
Right. And is the firemen call that a snake?
I do. Because the top of the propane flame looks like a snake head.
Okay. I didn't know if it was some technical term. It's challenging to photograph fire at any point. You did an excellent job. I'm assuming that around the firemen right in the center, that circular thing is actually a plume of water that's being shot onto the fire.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because what they're doing is they're walking up to actually close the valve.
Oh,
They're actually going to reach their hand underneath the flame and shut the valve.
okay. Wow. Good luck with that. All right. Thank you. Very nice photograph.
Okay, next is Red-Bellied Woodpecker having lunch, Greg Effner.
Okay. I love red belly. I see them in my backyard all the time. Very, very nice, clear photograph. Well done.
Next up is broad-billed hummingbird on an aloe, Nancy Jones.
Okay. Wow. Very nice. I myself have never been able to capture anything as good as that with hummingbirds. Very nice. Is Nancy on? That's right. I was just curious where it was taken.
She is on.
Okay. Nancy?
She's on her iPad. She may not have.
Okay. Well, it's a nice photograph.
Next up is Freak Out, Joan Heffler.
I freaked out about as much as the cow did when I saw this. That's just a crazy photograph. I don't even know what category to put it in. So it's amazing. Once in a lifetime or something. Very nice.
Next up is Sunflower, Paul O'Keefe.
Right. And classic composition. And background. A little bit soft for my taste, but it's nicely composed. Very good.
Next up is Doing God's Work, Phil Olivo.
Again, street scenes, people anonymously taking pictures of people is always challenging. You don't want to have them distracted. Very, very nice with the woman looking towards, and makes you want to build a story around it. Very nice.
Next is Arlo, Rich Strogstein.
Yeah, it's the dog. Nicely done. I wouldn't want to meet it in a dark alley, but it's a nice photograph.
Next is Death of the Rose, Robert Neer.
They nicely done. Just a simple scene that can draw you into the picture, and it's very nice and clear, and well done. Very nice.
Okay, Glass Wing Butterfly, Joe Catronio.
Photographed these little creatures before, and it's quite challenging. They're very, very a lot smaller than they actually look in this picture, and it never for me seem to stay around long. So very nicely done, nice capture.
Next up is Alleyway, Giona, Italy, Ron Klein.
Okay. Nice street scene. It's certainly takes you down the alleyway. The shadows are nice. Just a nice street scene. Very good.
Next up is Lights, Camera, Action, Ronald Spear.
Okay. I'm almost felt at first like this was upside down, but I couldn't quite manage what I was looking at. Is Ron on? Is Ron there? Anyway, it's interesting photograph. I'm assuming that the camera was moved a little bit. Very, very creative, very nice.
Okay, next up is Sunflower, Kim Koza.
Very, very nice. I'm assuming that this was taken in the field and not the studio shot. It's got some interesting background. It almost felt like some of these lines in the background were actually put on after the photograph. They almost seem to be going through the stem. It's it has nice detail, but it's got a softness to it that makes it quite an interesting picture. Very nice.
Okay, next up is Idyllic, Vermont, Ronald Spear.
A pleasant looking landscape, nice colors. It's to me a little distracting with the building being cut off by the ground. And if it had maybe person had moved forward and shot with more of the building, if it was possible, it might have worked out a little differently. Very nice.
Next up is The Door to Christmas, Sean Sullivan.
Sean. Yes, again, it's kind of a classic scene, multiple squares. When you're facing a building, you run into this. It's nice that you have three of them that are similar, and then the fourth that is a dramatic difference. Certainly draws your eye in. The lines of the picture are such that you aren't distracted by anything. You're drawn right into the center of the scene and the door. Very nice.
Next up, Ethereal, Sharon Silversmith.
It's interesting, kind of mysterious. I'm honestly, it reminds me more of a painting than a photograph. It's quite unique and creative. Is Sharon on?
Yes,
Sharon, where was that?
in Amsterdam.
Ah, that's why. I I'm assuming that's Amsterdam, New York, not the country, not the other country. Can you tell us anything more about the scene?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh, am I?
Hey, you've cut out. I think we lost him.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying
Okay.
to change to another microphone. That makes any difference? Is that any better?
Oh, much better.
Okay, yeah, that's switching back and forth for some reason, does it? I just wanted to know what the background of the scene was, Sharon.
It was in a museum and it was a statue.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. All right, so okay. I at first I thought the background was a person, but now I see that's a statue. Okay, very nice.
Next up is A Cow's Life, Thomas Whitmore.
Yeah, no, photograph landscape that I enjoyed looking and studying. The even the small waves on the water tend to draw you into the scene. That just a tiny bit of curve on it, it's enough to keep you from being distracted by the water that's there. It's nice, clear scene. Very good.
Okay, and our honorable mentions. First up, Feeding Time, Alan Wiggins.
Alan, made a great capture here. I'm assuming possibly a mature and immature loons. They're either feeding or passing something back and forth. A very, very difficult capture, and nice composition for something that you've got to snap in a second. Very nice.
Next honorable mention is First Frost, Claudia Jakubowski.
Nice. It's a nice simple scene. You run into something like that, and you're just often thrilled just to be able to capture something so simple, but so compositionally clean. It's very nicely composed and nicely done. Very good.
Next honorable mention is Devil's Kitchen Falls, Robert Neer.
Right. So we have basically classic waterfall time exposure. You've got some really nice lines in this photograph. The waterfall on the right is connecting to the one coming in from the left, and bringing everything together. You're nicely drawn into the picture. It's got just enough detail in the background to keep you interested and draw you all the way through the scene. Very nice.
Okay, next is Christmas Tree A Waltzing, Lena Keesey.
This is again a photograph where it's a random, somewhat random. You can learn what you're going to capture to a point, but it's always a mystery until you look at the image when it's done. And this was just it drew me into the picture. It's oftentimes with something like this you get hot spots, or you get something that's just so overblown that it's distracting. And this just is very well done all through the picture. It's a nice capture.
Yeah, last honorable mention, J Street Window Triptych, Barb Lawton.
Okay, this is I'll call it a classic street scene, cityscape. Very simple, very nice lines. The verticals are dominating, and the reflections are such that you feel like you're looking at the whole tree, and it's very, very pleasant to look at. Very enjoyable picture. Nicely done.
And our winners, in fifth place, Convent of St. Francis Fisoli, Italy. Ron Klein.
Just the window being open was enough to take this from just being, a normal cityscape building photograph to something that was unique. It's interesting to see the reflection in that open window, the pottery in the bottom right, and the door, just enough to break up the image so it wasn't symmetrical as much as it possibly could have been. It's just a very enjoyable picture to look at. Very nice.
Okay. Fourth place. Salamanca Garages, Phil Levo.
This is just, I'll call it a normal scene, but it has enough compositional elements in it that make it interesting and kind of fascinating to look at. I like the contrasting doors and the building colors, the tile on the roof, and the mostly horizontal lines with enough vertical on it to, tend to draw your eye into the scene. It's very enjoyable to look at. Very nice.
In third place, Balancing at Joshua Tree, Nancy Jones.
Is Nancy on? Anyway, I'm just curious if this was, in a sense, staged, if they were doing this for, as a show, or if it's just people. It's quite amazing to imagine someone balancing, even with what looks like a rope they're attached to the rope they're standing on. It's well composed on a scene that you would kind of be walking up upon and seeing. And have to capture probably quickly. It's just very, very nicely exposed and done, and the clouds in the background just enhance it, kind of center around the person. Very good.
Okay, in second place, Nudes, Lena Keesey.
This is just an amazing photograph. The whole concept of peeling fruit and then taking pictures of them, it's very creative, and the composition is done with the smaller pieces on the bottom, the larger coming off to the left. It does have lines. The cloth behind it centers everything well. It's just very enjoyable to look at. Very well done.
Okay, and our first place winner, Autumn Laundry, Linda Tomasulo.
Linda, very nice photograph. I really enjoyed looking at this. It drew me right in immediately. It's nothing that most people would just walk by something like that, but you captured a picture that's very special. Very, very well done.
Congratulations to our winners and honorable mentions, and great images, everybody. We're going to move on now to the monochrome category. And first up is Visit to a Small Planet, Neil Shapiro.
Okay, not exactly sure what it is. It's a very wide angle. It's has a crater or something at the bottom, and then it didn't really draw me into the scene. It made me kind of sit and question what it was. So interesting photograph, and well done.
Okay, next up is Buffaloed, Bill Lanahan.
Glad I wasn't there. It's quite a interesting piece of photography. And as far as compositionally, I don't know what you could say, because you're taking pictures of a buffalo out of your car, so you're kind of limited in what you can do. I'm glad you didn't get out and try to frame the scene. It's a good capture.
Okay. Next up is Welcome to Boston, Alan Wiggins.
Right. I guess it's a classic street scene. You know, nice depth and capture. Person didn't look happy, but who can say? Nicely done.
Unless she lives in Boston.
Yeah, well, probably.
Old Clay Pots, Barb Lawton.
So this is a, you know, kind of a still life. I'm assuming found and not set up in any way, just a, you know, where you find it. I like the vertical lines on the left and the little piece that was left on the top right that kind of broke up the background a little bit. It's very nice.
Okay, next is Not Memorial, Claudia Jakubowski.
Again, if you're, you know, wander around Schenectady with the camera long enough, you're going to take the knot. This is a good capture of it. The trees frame it very nicely and brings your, you know, brings your eye into the main door and draws you in. Very nice.
And next is Enjoying the View, Claudia Jakubowski.
Landscape, misty winter day. It's got some interesting compositional pieces in it. The branch that's swinging over the bench, and some of the lines in the background. It's an interesting picture. Because the bench is facing to nothing, you can't see anything over there. It was to me a little distracting, but there's times when you don't have much choice but to grab what you can get. Nicely done.
Okay, next up is This is my favorite too, Lena Keesey.
All right, this I enjoyed this photograph immensely. The expressions on the person's face. Again, street photography or photography that you're just random chances is always a challenge. The glassware on the bench are a nice balance to the two people. It's an enjoyable picture to look at. Very nice.
Next up is a Mendocino Surf, Dow Smith.
It's seascape, I'll call it. Lots of detail, almost to the point of giving you almost too much to look at. The interior with the water seemed to be a little bit underexposed, but it could be just mist and all. It's an interesting photograph, very good.
Next is Storm on the Mountain, Dow Smith.
Landscape, looking off in the distance, lots and lots of detail, and a little bit of blown out in the highlights. Probably no choice to lose so much in the foreground if you brought it out. It's sort of a classic composition, little bit distracting on the bottom with the lines from the left to right, but you nicely done. Lot of style also, which is an interesting way of shooting. Very good.
Next up is So Shiny, Joan Heffler.
Still life, very nice. Nicely composed. Got some lines in it from coming in the stem from the right and on the bottom. It tends to draw your eye in a bit. It's just an interesting and pleasant picture. Very good.
Next is Flower, Joe Catronio.
Yes, your classic flower photograph. It's not really symmetrical, but it's sort of the circularness. It tends to draw your eye into it. Interesting composition in that the center is I don't know, it's very almost out of focus, but it's not. It's interestingly done. Very nice.
Next is Frozen Leaf, Kim Koza.
It's a fascinating picture. The fact that it's got all the detail from the ice and all, and the detail in the background is like a balance to it. It's very nice, very nicely done.
This is Window Light, Kim Koza.
Yes, this actually I got caught up into this a little bit. It's an interesting photograph. Shadows and the curtains and the bright background. Very nicely done.
Next is Black White Duplicate, Joan Heffler.
Another street scene. Side, I guess side by side pictures. The symmetry of it. In interesting composition and then creativity. Very nice.
Next is Morning Walk, Larry Hill.
Seascapes. They're sometimes very difficult because of the amount of brightness, and you want to get details in the shadows and all. It's just kind of a classic lines on it. I was a little distracted by the walkway going out of the picture and not really taking me any place. But it's a pleasant picture to look at. Very good.
Dave, your microphone is fading out again.
There we go. How's that?
Nope.
Back again? Is that back again?
Nope. Still faded.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay. I don't know why it keeps changing, but whatever. Okay.
Next up is Tangled Wood, Joe Catronio.
All right. I enjoyed looking at this picture. It's got a lot of details and shadows and fog. I found that it's interesting. It doesn't I don't know, the compositionally it tends to be a little distracting with the two strong pieces of wood branches going from right to left up into the center. It tend to make my eye wander and not really look at one specific spot. So it's it's a nice picture, and I'm glad I could see it.
Next up is Dyla, Marguerite Hill.
Yep, a simple dahlia. Nice background and nice detail. Very good.
Next is Peony, Paula Keefe.
Another flower, a little bit soft, and has not a lot of detail in it, but it's a pleasant picture to look at. Very good.
Next we have Starbuck Island, Marguerite Hill.
Just a cityscape classic scene. You've got a child walking across to give you a good contrast from the detail in the background and something to look at in the foreground. I found again with the line going straight horizontally across, it tended to split it into two pictures for me. So a little bit distracting in that way, but very nice picture.
Okay. Next is Triplets, Phil Olivo.
This is another triple picture, like we've seen a number of them tonight. This is has some nice shadowing in it and detail. It's a little bit maybe just too much of the same thing for me, but it's a well done picture though.
Next is, look, a photographer, Rich Schreibstein.
And again, one of those captures that you wait around and hope you have the camera aimed in the right direction. It looks as if it's a reflect. You've got reflections in the background. I'm assuming that it's not a reflection itself. Is Rich on?
Here somewhere.
Rich?
He probably fell asleep. He's old.
I hear you. Okay. Anyway, nice picture.
Next up is Lines, Phil Olivo.
Right. Just composition that draws you in. Balance, kind of has symmetry in it, and since it's both sides are the same, it's similar. Interesting composition and very nice.
Next is Roadwork, Rich Schreibstein.
Again, talking to a city scene, people moving around, always challenging. Got some nice detail in the sky, and then the very detailed building, and the out of focus or blurry runner in front. Very, very nicely done.
Next is Platte Cove Cascade, Robert Neer.
Okay, Platte Cove is a wonderful place to photograph. It's a nice close-up of a waterfall, very challenging to capture. It's classic waterfall scene, very nice.
Okay, next is I Will See You Later, Sean Sullivan.
Just an amazing photograph of an owl. Just enjoyed looking at this. Just very, very well done. Very nice.
Next up is A Busy Bee, Sean Sullivan.
It's in classic flower. Nice background. The background is not distracting. It draws you back into the picture. And the bee it's detailed and interesting. Very nice.
Next is Cloudy Day, Sharon Silversmith.
A city scene, kind of a street scene. It's draws you in. It's got a diagonal going from right to left to the clock tower or the tower in it. I found it to be a little distracting on the far left. It kind of leaves you opened and a lot of sky that tends to draw my eye up into it. So it's a pleasant picture to look at, though. Very nice.
Next is Stepping Up, Sharon Silversmith.
Interesting picture, perspective that I don't think I could get I could get down there to take a picture of him from the floor. It's draws your eye in. He's got some background to carry your eye all the way through the picture, and some diagonals taking you up. It's a very enjoyable scene to look at. Very nice.
Okay, honorable mentions. First up, Timeless Beauty, Greg Effner.
I enjoyed looking at this photograph. I found that the balance was very nice. The building a little bit off center with the white fences on it drew you into the scene. Even though there are some branches in front of it, it's not distracting because it kind of it's an old house, and you're just kind of taking the scene in with the trees and everything's in the background. Very, very nicely done photograph. Very good, Greg.
Next honorable mention is Going Down, Linda Thomasula.
This obviously must have been taken fairly recently because they've got masks on. I love the lines. diagonal going down with the people behind it and the horizontal lines and the blocks behind it. Just great balance, well composed. It's just an excellent, excellent scene. Very nice.
Next honorable mention is Dog on a Rope, Alan Wiggins.
I enjoyed this picture. At first, I was just a little, I don't know, distracted by it. But as I watched it, it's a story. There's a scene here that you're being drawn into, and it's just the fact that you could capture something like this in an instant and have it be like this, and a little bit off angle is a pleasant way of doing it. It fit everything in the scene. Just very nice picture. Very nice. Very well done.
Okay, next up is Perched Pigeons, Linda Tomasulo.
It's just great. You don't see a lot of this silhouette photography, and this is so well done. The curved edge and the cross and off balance in the center is just classic. It's just a very, very pleasant image. Very nice. Well done.
And our last honorable mention, Burlap, Barb Lawton.
I enjoyed this picture. You just sometimes you see something that captures you, and it was for Barb. This was just a great capture. Very simple, something that 90% of the people would just walk right past, and it's the lighting, the detail, just everything. Very, very enjoyable. Very nice. Thank you for showing this one.
And our winners, in 5th place, On the Move, Greg Effner.
This is another street scene, challenging to photograph and have the people look like they're not reacting to you. I like the balance of it. Placing the person where they are is a good compositional technique, with the light background and the darkness in the pants kind of balances each other, and the lines are all drawing you through the scene and out of it, which is an important aspect of composition. So you're not stuck in one part of the scene, but drawn through. Very nice, Greg.
In 4th place, At the Shore of a Dream, Lena Keesey.
I love this photograph, similar to things that I sometimes do. The mist and the lightness of it, very, very nice balance, nice composition. The reflection of the island in the water just enhances this. It's a very, very enjoyable picture. Very nice.
In 3rd place, Heavy Lift, Robert Neer.
I have to admit that I like industrial photographs. So this, again, caught my eye immediately. The chains the verticals are compositionally considered to show strength, and the hook itself has a solid looking look of strength. It's just a photograph that is enjoyable to look at and very well done. Very nice, Robert.
In 2nd place, Early Morning at the Coast, Bill Lanahan.
Right, we have a classic seascape. It has just all the elements of composition that you want. In some cases, this line across the upper part of the lower part of the scene would be distracting, but the reflection from the rock in the background really just draws you in immediately. It doesn't catch you in that lower part. And then the rest of the scene has enough in the background, just enough to keep you interested and move your eye through it. Very nice balance and composition. Very good.
And in 1st place, somebody who's never wins. Moon over Zion, Neil Shapiro.
Well, Neil did a great job on this one, and I enjoyed looking at it. You just can't add anything other than compositionally and for balance and detail. It's just tremendous. Just a very well done, Neil. Nice photograph. Very good.
Well, congratulations to Neil and to everybody who won. It's some great images. It was very tough for Dave.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna stop my screen share here. There we go. Anybody has any questions for Dave or comments, or feel free. Don't forget to unmute yourself. Hi, Colleen. Nobody?
Well, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to view and talk about these photographs. Very, very difficult, as always, to judge your competitions. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you,
Hey,
Dave.
thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Yes, my pleasure. Anytime.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, everybody. See you next week. Don't forget, next week is Hazel Meredith event night. So see you then. Right?
Okay.
Everybody stay safe.
Thank you.
Night,
Bye.
everyone.
Stay warm, everybody.